just in Japan on a bike. I mentioned in my last video that I had a bit of a hairy moment, and I've come out today on the other bike. So I was on the last time I was on the Suzuki V-Strom 250. I'm on the Suzuki GSXS 1000F today. That's the bike I bought about 2 years ago, and I've come looking for the exact spot where I had that dodgy moment around a bend, and here it is. This is it. So the Suzuki V-Strom 250 is a very capable bike. It's a brilliant all-rounder, and it's almost a perfect bike for city riding and small country lanes, small tight mountain twisties, etc. But one thing I discovered was that it's really capable of, you can really throw it about around the bends, and you can really get the revs up and enjoy it around these mountain roads. Now, I'm not sure how much you can see on the video, but you can see that the asphalt, the surface of the road is not the best. It's people probably get the impression that in Japan the roads are really good. They're not, especially out in the countryside. When you get out to places like this, you will find that the road surface is rather dodgy. And so I was coming around this bend on the baby V-Strom. You'll probably get by other bikes. This is a very popular place to test your riding skills. I would call this a more advanced course, this particular road that goes over, it crosses over a mountain range, and it is a very challenging ride, and I've had to do it several times. I'm still not used to it. But what's this coming? Somebody's coming up the hill. Let's see what this is. He's all bark and no bite, I would say. He's got a loud exhaust, but he's not really pushing his bike much. Anyway, I was coming down the hill, so I'd come up the one side. You can see the mountain that I'd passed over there, and I was really enjoying it, really throwing the bike around. As I said, it's a very capable bike. You can really you know, you can get some good performance out of it for what it is. Don't forget, you know, I'm not comparing it with sports bikes, but for a 250, I think it really does go well, and it is really capable of thrashing it around mountain roads. But there's one thing that I discovered on this bend here, exactly coming down here. One thing I discovered was that you can lean it over in terms of the weight distribution and the suspension and the tyres, even the stock tyres. I'm running stock tyres. I'm not even running anything special on the bike. So in the wet, I find the tyres rather dodgy, but in the dry, so he's going very slowly around this bend. But one thing I'll say is I leaned it over more. I was really pushing the bike to the limit, and I leaned it right over. But of course, the pegs are not particularly high. So what happened was my foot touched the road surface, touched the asphalt, and I lost control. I wasn't going amazingly fast because it is a 250, and but I was going fast enough. And as I hit this bend here, as I hit the apex of the bend, my foot touched the ground and touched the road, and I lost control. Now, my reactions were luckily quite fast. I mean, I'm really switched on. When you're riding, I mean, people who ride motorbikes, I think they do have heightened sensitivity, and they are generally, if you're a motorbike, if you've survived on a motorbike as long as I have, you've got good reactions. So what happened was I managed to maintain control of the bike. I managed to get it upright, slow down I sort of was, there's no ABS on mine, by the way. I know some countries ABS is standard, but what happened was I was pumping the front brake, and I came to a standstill at this barrier. So I didn't hit the barrier, by the way, but I would not be surprised if this barrier has been hit a few times. And there's a dragonfly there, interesting. So I suspect that this barrier has taken a right caning. You can see it's got a lot of scuff marks on it, probably a lot of cars, but I suspect a few bikes have hit it as well. And definitely a very challenging road, and definitely the baby V-Strom, very capable. But I have to say that you can't lean it over, really. The bike, if you had the pegs raised, the pegs were higher, your feet were higher, you could actually lean it over more. But I was just simply restricted by the, and of course, the peg height is not designed for, it's not a sports bike, so therefore, of course, the peg height, the pegs are positioned for more for comfort, because it's like a mini adventure bike, isn't it? So obviously, you know, you can't expect the bike to perform like a sports bike, but it does, bar one thing, bar the position of the pegs. So if you were to customize your bike and raise the pegs, I think, and you know, I think you wouldn't need to do much else. You could really thrash it around the bends, you know. And I suppose also if you drop the handlebars a bit, you'd have basically, you know, you raise the pegs, you drop the handlebars, I think you'd have a decent sports bike on your hands for a, you know, in a 250 class. Anyway, that was it. That's all I wanted to say. Shaken, but not stirred. And as I said, it's quite popular with riders here. I wish I could film it. I did actually film it once, but the camera had issues, and I think the battery ran out or something, and I ended up not getting it. But this is this bend here, well, it's a hairpin, isn't it? It's a downhill here. Well, it's downhill if you're going this way, uphill if you're coming this way. Yeah, it's really typical of the roads in this area. And this is a weekday daytime, middle of the afternoon, so it's not a busy weekend or public holiday, and yet there are still quite a few bikes out enjoying, especially the autumn now. The weather's still quite hot, but it's less humid and better for riding, because it's there's a bit of a breeze. And yeah, anyway, there we are. I'm rambling now, but that was it. That's all I wanted to say, because I did have a few questions and people wondering what happened. And to cut a long story short, or to summarize, I should say, the V-Strom is an incredibly capable bike, but you can't lean it over too much because of the peg position, which is typical of its category of bike. And I've found the limit. I found what I can do. How fast was I going? I think I was going, not sure actually, I don't remember, because it all happened so fast. Obviously I was going not too fast, that it was fast enough to lean the bike over without losing control until my foot hit the road surface. But it was not overly fast, not amazingly fast. I mean, look at the bend, look at it. But the GSXS 1000F, which I'm on now, definitely has a higher peg position, and it's but not super high. It's, again, it's not positioned exactly like a sports bike, so I don't think this bike is going to lean over as much as a proper sports bike, or a proper, it is sporty, but like a race replica, when your knees are up in, you know, on the tank and all the rest of it. It's I do feel that I do feel that it won't lean as much as, say, a regular sports bike, you know, but it is more for comfort than all out sports, this bike. Anyway, there we are. That was it. Just wanted to say that. This has been Just in Japan on a Bike. Take care.